Listen to me. Everybody wants strength. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants freedom. But here's the truth. It doesn't start with your body. It doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with luck. It starts right here in your mind. Your mind is the most powerful muscle you will ever own. And if you don't train it, if you don't discipline it, it will control you instead of you controlling it. Most people spend hours training their body, polishing their looks, showing off to the world. They lift weights, they run, they push their limits physically, and that's good. But what happens when life knocks them down, when doubt creeps in, when failure punches them in the face? A strong body without a strong mind collapses. It's useless. The battle is always won or lost up here first. Training your mind is not glamorous. Nobody claps for you when you resist distraction. Nobody cheers when you refuse excuses. Nobody applauds when you stay focused in silence. But those are the reps that count. Those are the push-ups for your brain. Every time you say no to weakness, you're building mental muscle. Every time you stand tall in discomfort, you're adding weight to the bar. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Discipline is stronger than motivation. Mental toughness is stronger than comfort. You must take the time every single day to train your mind, through focus, through reading, through visualization, through reminding yourself of your mission. Because when your mind is unshakable, your body will follow. Your actions will follow. Your results will follow. You want to win in life, then you must prepare for war. And war is not fought in gyms, not in offices, not in stadiums. War is fought in your head, against your own fear, your own laziness, your own excuses. That's the real enemy, and the only way to defeat it is to condition your mind like steel. So make the decision. While everyone else wastes time scrolling, complaining, or waiting, you will invest time in training the most powerful weapon you have. Build discipline, build focus, build unbreakable belief. Do it every day. Do it relentlessly. Do it because success is reserved for the ones who are mentally strong enough to hold on when everyone else lets go. Take the time to train your mind, and there will be no challenge too great, no obstacle too high, no dream too far. The mind is the strongest muscle, and if you don't train it, everything else will collapse. People put endless effort into building their bodies, chasing physical strength, chasing status, chasing recognition. But they forget that all of it is directed by one thing, the mind. The body will not move without command. The choices will not be made without thought. The discipline will not be born without mental conditioning. You can have the biggest arms, the fastest legs, the toughest skin. But if your mind is weak, then the first sign of resistance will break you. The first obstacle will stop you. The first failure will crush you. Strength of body is temporary. Strength of mind is permanent. The body tires, the body aches, the body ages, but the mind, if trained, becomes sharper with time, becomes more resilient, becomes indestructible. That is why the mind is the strongest muscle you will ever own, and yet most people leave it soft, untrained, fragile. And then they wonder why they collapse under the weight of life. Training your mind is not optional. It is necessary. Just like you wouldn't skip the gym if you want a strong body. You cannot skip the daily training of your thoughts if you want a strong life. The world is not kind. Challenges come. Failures stack up. Pressure builds. And the only shield you have is the conditioning you give yourself inside your head. The repetitions of resilience, the discipline of focus, the patience to keep going when nothing is working, that is mental training. Too many people think strength is measured in how much weight you can lift or how long you can run. True strength is measured in how long you can endure without breaking mentally. How long you can keep pushing when your body says stop, when your environment tells you to quit, when everyone else gives up. That is the moment your mind shows whether it has been trained or whether it has been neglected. Look around, and you will see it every day. Two people face the same challenge, one rises and the other falls. Same obstacle, different outcome. Why? Not because one had more muscles or more money or more opportunities, but because one had a stronger mind. One had trained for adversity, while the other had never prepared. The mind, like the body, adapts to stress. You put it under pressure, it grows stronger. You force it through struggle, it becomes tougher. You discipline it daily, it becomes unshakable. But if you let it drift, if you allow it to be lazy, if you feed it weakness, then at the moment of truth it will fail you. That is the universal rule of strength. You cannot summon it in the moment of need if you have not built it beforehand. Training your mind begins with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, awareness of your patterns, awareness of when you are giving in to weakness. Most people live in automatic mode, letting fear, doubt, and insecurity run the show. Training your mind means taking control, taking responsibility for what you feed your brain, for what you allow yourself to believe, for what you repeat to yourself every single day. You cannot speak defeat every morning and expect to live victory. You cannot fill your mind with distractions and expect it to focus when it matters. You cannot allow excuses to sit in your head and expect strength to suddenly appear. Training your mind is choosing discipline over comfort, clarity over chaos, focus over distraction. It is refusing to let weakness take root in your thoughts. Think of the mind as a battlefield. Every day there are attacks: fear, laziness, temptation, excuses, negativity. If you do not train, if you do not build defenses, if you do not strengthen your willpower, those attacks will win. And once they win, they spread. A little doubt becomes complete hesitation. A small excuse becomes a lifelong pattern of quitting. A single moment of laziness becomes years of wasted potential. But if you train your mind, if you prepare yourself daily, those attacks bounce off you. Doubt comes and you answer with belief. Laziness comes and you counter with action. Negativity comes and you crush it with purpose. That is the power of mental training. It doesn't eliminate the attack. It makes you undefeatable against it. People look for shortcuts. They want hacks. They want easy methods. But there is no shortcut to a strong mind. It is built the same way a strong body is built: repetition, consistency, pain, discipline. You sit with discomfort instead of running from it. You focus when you don't feel like it. You push yourself when your body screams stop. You embrace the grind because you know that every rep, every moment of struggle, every battle you win in your head is building strength that no one can take from you. You cannot buy it, you cannot borrow it, you cannot fake it. You either train your mind or you don't, and the results show in every decision, every action, every outcome of your life. A strong mind creates freedom. When you are mentally strong, you are not a slave to your emotions. You are not controlled by fear. You are not swayed by doubt. You make decisions based on discipline and purpose, not on weakness and comfort. You become unstoppable not because life gets easier, but because you get tougher. Challenges will still come, failures will still appear, pain will still exist. But with a trained mind, you face it head on and you keep moving forward. That is the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. Success is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about conditioning yourself to push through it. That conditioning only comes when you dedicate time to training the strongest muscle you have. You will face moments when you feel like giving up, when everything in you says it is impossible, when your body screams for rest, when your emotions beg you to quit. In those moments, the mind decides the outcome. If it has been trained, it will carry you through. It will push you further than you thought possible. It will make you unbreakable. If it has not been trained, you will fall, you will surrender, you will live with regret. That is why you cannot afford to neglect it. Every day is an opportunity to sharpen your mind, to strengthen your will, to build the mental fortress that will protect your dreams and carry you to victory. Discipline beats motivation because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. It rises when things feel easy and disappears. When things get tough, it excites you in the moment but abandons you when you actually need it. And if you depend on motivation, you will fail every time. Life demands consistency because life will not wait for you to feel ready. It will not pause until you feel like working. It will keep moving whether you are inspired or not. And that is why discipline must be built like a machine, unshakable, automatic, relentless, because discipline is what carries you when motivation is gone. Discipline is what wakes you up when the bed is warm. Discipline is what pushes you forward when your body says stop. Discipline is the foundation of mental toughness. Motivation is easy to find. A video, a speech, a song, a conversation can spark it. But sparks don't keep a fire burning. Sparks die out without fuel, and that fuel is discipline, the habit of showing up no matter what, the practice of doing the work when no one is watching, the consistency of action even when your feelings scream for comfort. That is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Those who wait for motivation stay stuck. Those who build discipline move forward every day regardless of mood or circumstance, because discipline is not about feeling good. It is about doing what needs to be done. The mind grows through discipline. Every time you force yourself to keep going, you lay another brick in the wall of mental toughness. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you sharpen your focus. Every time you act without motivation, you strengthen your identity as someone who does not need to be pushed. You become self-driven, self-controlled, unstoppable, and that is far more powerful than relying on temporary bursts of inspiration, because discipline creates freedom, the freedom to act in any situation, the freedom to be consistent, the freedom to pursue your vision regardless of emotion. People who depend on motivation stop when it fades. They chase the high of inspiration. They look for external energy to fuel their journey. But life is not designed to keep you inspired. Life is designed to test you, to break you, to challenge you. And those who survive are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined, the ones who keep their promises to themselves, the ones who follow their plan regardless of feeling, the ones who execute without question, because discipline has become who they are, not something they occasionally practice. Think about athletes, champions, leaders. They are not motivated every day. No one is. But they are disciplined every day. They show up when tired. They train when sore. They study when distracted. They execute when bored. They live by discipline because they understand that feelings are temporary but habits are permanent. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire. And the mind trained in discipline becomes indestructible because it learns that success is not about excitement. It is about consistency, about showing up every single day. Discipline teaches the mind to obey. When you set a standard and follow through no matter what, you rewire your brain. You create a new identity, one where quitting is not an option, one where excuses are eliminated, one where weakness has no place, and this mental rewiring creates strength that cannot be shaken by circumstance, because circumstances change but discipline remains. It is a decision, it is a commitment, it is a lifestyle, and once you embrace it, your mind becomes unshakable, immune to the ups and downs of temporary emotion. Every act of discipline builds mental armor. When you say no to distractions, you are forging resilience. When you stick to your plan, you are reinforcing belief. When you finish what you started, you are telling your mind that it can be trusted, that it is strong, that it does not bend under pressure. And the more you repeat this process, the more your mental muscle grows until eventually you are unstoppable. You don't need to feel like it. You don't need the perfect conditions. You don't need external approval. You simply do the work because that is who you are. Discipline is uncomfortable, and that is why most people avoid it. They chase motivation because motivation feels good, it feels exciting, it feels inspiring, but discipline is raw, it is hard, it demands sacrifice, it demands patience, it demands repetition, and that is exactly why it is so powerful. Because if it were easy, everyone would be disciplined, but it is not. It requires training, it requires struggle, it requires deliberate practice, and only those who commit to it will discover the strength that comes from it. The strength of a mind that is unshaken by difficulty. Motivation will tell you to dream big, but discipline will make you act. Motivation will hype you up, but discipline will carry you through. Motivation will disappear, but discipline will stay. Motivation is a visitor, but discipline is a resident. And if you want to build a life of strength and achievement, you must stop chasing the visitor and start building the resident. You must stop waiting for inspiration and start training your mind through discipline. Because every disciplined act is proof that you are stronger than your feelings. And that proof builds confidence. And that confidence fuels even more action. When you master discipline, your mind no longer negotiates with weakness. It no longer bargains with excuses. It no longer surrenders to comfort. It simply does what is required, And this is the highest level of freedom, the freedom to act without hesitation, the freedom to persist without question, the freedom to succeed regardless of obstacles, and this freedom is not given to you. It is earned through relentless discipline, through showing up again and again, through refusing to quit when everything inside you wants to. And that is how you train the mind to be tougher than any circumstance. Everyday battles shape strength, because greatness is not built in the spotlight. It is forged in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It is created in the small decisions that look insignificant but accumulate into power. It is born every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you push past laziness, every time you choose discipline over comfort. These are the daily battles that decide whether your mind becomes strong or remains weak, whether you build resilience or surrender to excuses, whether you step into your potential or waste it. The truth is, strength is never the result of one big moment. It is the product of countless small victories over yourself. When the alarm rings and you want to stay in bed, that is a battle. When your body craves comfort food instead of discipline, that is a battle. When your mind whispers that you are too tired, too busy, too unmotivated to keep going, that is a battle. And these battles are the training ground of mental toughness. Most people think the big challenges of life are what define them, but those challenges only reveal the strength you built in the daily grind. If you win the small battles consistently, you will have the power to face the big ones. But if you lose small battles day after day, your mind will crumble the moment real pressure comes. Strength is not built by avoiding struggle. It is built by embracing it. Every time you step into discomfort, you are conditioning your mind. Every time you do what you don't want to do but know you must, you are reinforcing resilience. Every time you fight the battle of self-control and win, you are programming yourself to be stronger. And this programming compounds. Just like lifting weights builds muscle over time, winning mental battles builds toughness over time. It may not be obvious in the moment, but over months and years the difference becomes undeniable. Your mind becomes sharper, tougher, unshakable, because it has been trained through thousands of repetitions of discipline. These everyday battles are where character is built. No one sees you choosing to study instead of wasting hours on distraction. No one sees you running when your body begs you to stop. No one sees you practicing your craft when everyone else is relaxing. But those invisible battles decide everything. They are the foundation of strength, and without that foundation, you cannot hold the weight of your goals. People admire the end result of champions, leaders, warriors, but they do not see the silent wars they fight daily. The wars against comfort, against procrastination, against fear. And that is why so few achieve greatness, because they lose the small battles long before the big ones arrive. Everyday battles also teach you control. They teach you to master your emotions, to master your impulses, to master the voice inside that constantly looks for the easy way out. When you ignore that voice and act anyway, you are building authority over your own mind, and that authority is the essence of strength. Because if you cannot command yourself, you will be commanded by weakness. If you cannot lead your own thoughts, you will be led by excuses. And if you cannot win against yourself, you will never win against the world. The real fight has always been internal, and it is fought in the details of your daily decisions. The truth is, these battles are never convenient. They never come when you feel strong. They always appear when you feel tired, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you have nothing left to give. And that is the point, because strength is not built in comfort. It is built in resistance. The weight you lift in the gym must be heavy enough to strain you, or your muscles will never grow. The battles of the mind are the same. They must be difficult. They must demand sacrifice. They must stretch your limits. Otherwise, there is no growth. So when the daily challenges come and you feel resistance, understand that this is the opportunity. This is the workout for your mind. This is the rep that counts. Every time you lose a battle against laziness, you weaken your identity. You reinforce the story that you are someone who gives in. But every time you win, you reinforce the story that you are unstoppable, that you cannot be broken. And this identity is everything, because the strongest people are not those who never feel weakness. They are the ones who have trained themselves to act despite weakness. They have created an identity that rejects excuses, that rejects surrender, that rejects comfort. And this identity is forged only by winning the everyday battles again and again until there is no other option. Do not underestimate how much these small battles matter. Skipping a workout seems small. Scrolling instead of working seems small. Delaying instead of executing seems small. But every small choice is a vote for who you are becoming. Every action compounds into strength or weakness. Every victory builds momentum, and every defeat steals it. So when you face these battles, understand that your future is on the line. Your potential is on the line. Your destiny is being shaped right there in the small decision in front of you. Win enough of those decisions, and your mind becomes a fortress. Everyday battles also expose your excuses. They show you the truth about how much you want it. Because everyone says they want to be strong. Everyone says they want success. But words mean nothing if you cannot win against yourself in the moments of temptation. If you cannot choose discipline when it is uncomfortable. If you cannot reject comfort when no one is watching. These are the tests that separate talkers from doers, dreamers from achievers, and your ability to win them consistently is what builds the unshakable mind that can handle any challenge life throws at you. The mind is not built in theory. It is built in action. It is built through the repetition of daily choices. It is built through winning the small battles that no one celebrates. It is built through proving to yourself again and again that you will not break. And when you do this long enough, when you stack thousands of victories, you become someone who cannot be stopped. Someone who no longer negotiates with weakness, someone who meets resistance and grows stronger from it. And that is the true meaning of strength. The real war is internal, because every struggle you face in the outside world begins with a battle inside your own mind. The enemy is not the competitor, it is not the environment, it is not the circumstance. The real enemy is fear, the real enemy is laziness, the real enemy is doubt. And unless you defeat those enemies inside you, you will never have the strength to overcome anything outside you. Most people lose long before the challenge even begins. They lose when they talk themselves out of trying. They lose when they surrender to excuses. They lose when they allow weakness to whisper louder than their will. The battlefield is within, and if you do not train for it, you will always be conquered by it. Fear is the first enemy. It shows up every time you want to step forward. Every time you want to grow, every time you want to reach higher. It tells you that you are not ready, that you are not enough, that you will fail. And most people listen, most people retreat, most people surrender. But those who win the war inside confront fear directly. They do not wait for it to vanish, because it never will. They face it, they step through it, they train themselves to act in spite of it. And with every step they take against fear, they grow stronger. Their mind learns that fear is not a stop sign, but a signal to move forward, and that conditioning builds unbreakable courage. Laziness is another enemy in this war. It creeps in quietly. It tells you that you can do it tomorrow, that you deserve a break, that one day of comfort won't matter. But laziness compounds. One day becomes two, two become weeks, weeks become months, and before you know it, you are living a life ruled by weakness. This is why the war inside must be fought every day, because laziness is always there waiting, and the only way to defeat it is with discipline, by acting when you do not feel like it, by choosing effort when your body wants rest, by refusing to allow comfort to control you. Every time you push through laziness, you are training your mind to obey your purpose instead of your feelings. Doubt is perhaps the most dangerous enemy, because it disguises itself as reason. It tells you to be realistic. It whispers that others are better, that the odds are too low, that success is not for you. And once doubt takes root, it spreads like poison, killing belief, killing action, killing potential. This is why you must confront doubt the moment it appears. You must replace it with belief. You must feed your mind with proof of progress, with reminders of your vision, with conviction in your ability to grow, because doubt cannot survive in a mind that has been trained to believe. And every time you defeat doubt, you reinforce your inner strength. You prove to yourself that your future is not dictated by fear or uncertainty, but by your will. The real war is not fought once. It is fought daily. Every morning when you wake up, the war begins. The war between the version of you that wants to grow and the version of you that wants to stay the same. The war between discipline and excuses, between action and hesitation, between strength and weakness. and the side you feed is the side that wins if you feed fear. Laziness and doubt, they grow stronger, but if you feed courage, discipline, and belief, you build an unstoppable force inside you. This is why training the mind is not optional. It is essential, because every day you are either winning or losing the war within. Most people look for external enemies to blame. They say the world is unfair, the economy is bad, opportunities are limited, but those are distractions from the truth. The truth is the biggest battle has always been inside. If you conquer yourself, you can conquer anything. But if you cannot win against yourself, you will never win against the world. History is filled with people who rose from nothing, who had no advantage, who faced impossible odds, yet they prevailed because they had mastered the inner war. They had built the mental toughness to keep moving when everything outside told them to quit, and that is proof that the war within is the decisive factor. Every obstacle in life is amplified or minimized by your inner state. A weak mind sees a small challenge as impossible. A strong mind sees an impossible challenge as an opportunity. A weak mind is broken by rejection. A strong mind uses rejection as fuel. A weak mind quits at the first failure. A strong mind grows from failure and comes back stronger. The difference is never the situation itself. It is always the mind that faces it. This is why the war inside is more important than any war outside, because once you train your mind to be unshakable, no external force can defeat you. Training for this war requires consistency. It requires awareness. It requires honesty with yourself. You must recognize when fear is controlling you, when laziness is creeping in, when doubt is whispering lies, and you must confront them immediately. You cannot allow them to grow unchecked. You must build habits that reinforce strength. You must surround yourself with thoughts and actions that feed courage and discipline. You must constantly test yourself, push yourself, challenge yourself, because only through pressure is strength built, and every challenge is an opportunity to sharpen your inner weapon. The war inside is not glamorous. No one applauds when you wake up early. No one cheers when you push through fatigue. No one celebrates when you reject excuses. But those are the victories that matter most. Those are the victories that shape your mind into steel. Those are the victories that prepare you for the external battles of life. And when the big challenges come, you will be ready, not because you suddenly became strong, but because you have been winning the silent war within for years. The real war is internal, and it will never end. But that is not a weakness, it is a gift, because every day you are given another chance to build strength, another chance to grow tougher, another chance to prove to yourself that you are stronger than fear, stronger than laziness, stronger than doubt. And with every victory you rise higher. With every victory you gain more control. With every victory you move closer to becoming unstoppable. And that is why the greatest warriors are not the ones who fight others, but the ones who conquer themselves. An unbreakable mind creates unstoppable results, because everything you achieve on the outside is a reflection of the strength you have built on the inside. The body can only go as far as the mind allows. Success can only stretch as wide as belief permits, and progress can only last as long as discipline sustains it. When the mind is fragile, every challenge feels like a wall. Every setback feels like the end. Every failure feels permanent. But when the mind is trained to be unbreakable, there is no wall too high, no setback too heavy, no failure that cannot be turned into fuel. The strength of your results will always mirror the strength of your mental foundation. Unbreakable mind is not born from comfort. It is forged in the fire of difficulty. Every rejection, every loss, every obstacle is a tool. And instead of breaking you, it sharpens you. The unbreakable mind does not ask for easy. It does not pray for less challenge. It thrives on resistance, because resistance is where growth happens. Just as steel is hardened in fire, the mind is hardened in struggle. The difference between the ones who reach greatness and the ones who collapse under pressure is not talent, not opportunity, not luck. It is the ability to remain unshaken when everything around them is falling apart, the ability to keep moving forward when every reason to stop is screaming in their face. That is what creates unstoppable results. An unbreakable mind sees failure differently. While most view failure as the end, the unbreakable mind sees it as feedback, as training, as proof That progress is happening. It understands that every mistake is a lesson, every setback is a rep in the gym of resilience, every rejection is a chance to build strength. And because it interprets struggle in this way, it cannot be defeated by it, where others see the end. It sees the beginning of growth, where others quit. It adapts and continues. This mindset is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers, because they simply refuse to be broken by what stops everyone else. The unbreakable mind also controls emotions. It does not allow anger, fear, or sadness to dictate action. It feels them, but it does not bow to them. It does not let temporary feelings sabotage permanent goals. And this control is what allows consistency, because results are created not by bursts of energy, but by relentless persistence. Anyone can act when they feel good. Anyone can work when they are inspired, but the unbreakable mind acts regardless of emotion. It stays disciplined in chaos. It stays focused in pain. It stays steady when the storm rages. And because of that, it creates results that cannot be matched by those who rely on mood or motivation. The unbreakable mind builds identity. It tells itself every day that quitting is not an option, that weakness has no place, that nothing will shake its resolve, and this repeated self-come and becomes truth. It becomes who you are, and when your identity is rooted in resilience, your actions follow automatically. You no longer need to ask whether you will continue, whether you will push, whether you will rise. It becomes inevitable because an unbreakable mind does not negotiate with weakness. It does not debate with excuses. It does not ask for permission to keep going. It simply executes, and that execution compounded over time produces unstoppable results. Most people want the results without building the mind. They want success without discipline. They want victory without struggle. They want progress without pain. But results are always earned in the mind first. The battle is won internally before it is expressed externally. The unbreakable mind understands this, and so it invests daily in strengthening itself. It rejects negative thoughts. It sharpens focus. It builds patience. It embraces challenges. It treats adversity as training, and because of that preparation, when the real tests come, it is ready. While others are surprised and crushed, it has already rehearsed victory inside long before the moment arrives. An unbreakable mind is not about being perfect or never feeling doubt. It is about refusing to surrender to it. It is about standing tall even when you are tired. It is about pushing forward even when you are afraid. It is about finding a way when excuses try to block every path. It is about refusing to break no matter how heavy the pressure becomes. This is the mindset that creates leaders, champions, visionaries, because they understand that the results are simply the natural outcome of a mind that cannot be bent, cannot be broken, cannot be stopped. Results in life are not always immediate. Sometimes you will work for weeks, months, years without visible progress, and this is where most people give up. But the unbreakable mind persists. It keeps planting seeds. It keeps watering the ground. It keeps showing up, because it knows that consistency always produces harvest. Even when it is delayed, the unbreakable mind does not demand instant gratification. It thrives on delayed reward. It thrives on the process. It thrives on the grind, and because of that it outlasts everyone else, and those who outlast always outshine, because the world cannot deny results to the one who refuses to quit. Every storm eventually passes. Every season eventually changes. Every night eventually turns to day. The question is not whether the challenge will end, but whether you will last long enough to see it through. And this is the dividing line between failure and success, between mediocrity and greatness. Those with a breakable mind collapse before the breakthrough. Those with an unbreakable mind endure until the results arrive. And when they arrive in abundance, because the mind that refuses to break unlocks levels of consistency and persistence that create compounding success, unstoppable momentum, and results that others call impossible. The truth is, unstoppable results are not a mystery. They are simply the byproduct of a mind that cannot be defeated, a mind that is conditioned to push forward regardless of circumstance, a mind that treats obstacles as fuel, a mind that views failure as training, a mind that does not collapse under pressure but hardens because of it. And once you build that kind of mind, there is no limit to what you can achieve, there is no dream too far, no mountain too high, no challenge too great, because the world cannot stop someone who has already decided within that they will not be broken. And this is why an unbreakable mind always leads to unstoppable results.